Well, speaking of flooding and drownings, I'm afraid we had the same problem up here in Gauteng. A family will today lay to rest 2 victims of that drowning incident that left several people dead and some still missing. It was 3 weeks ago when Sheila Renke and her 3-year-old grandchild Ilechle drowned after a flash flood during a baptism ceremony just near here, near the Jukskei River. The body of the 3-month-old has not been found, unfortunately. 13 other congregants did perish in the same incident. eNCA reporter Manqoba Mchunu is in Dobsonville for us at the funeral, and I suppose what really is, some people are going to say, Manqoba, some element of closure, but while this closure is for some members of the families of those that were lost, there's still this tragedy and this grieving process of others still missing and still no answers as to why this was allowed to happen.
Well, certainly, Garrett, this family, of course, is still looking for answers. They still haven't quite found closure, given that one of their family members has still not been found. And that's the 3-month-old baby, Sinenhlanhla, whose body has still not been recovered. Of course, they were part of those congregants that were at the Jukskei River on the 3rd of December when this incident occurred, when the flash flood had hit that particular area and sweeping away some of those congregants. And in the aftermath, the family losing 3 of their family members, 51-year-old Sheila Renke, as well as a grandson, Eliche, who is 3 years old, and the 3-month-old baby, Sinenhlanhla. But I can imagine the grief that the family is going through, the trauma that the family is going through. They still haven't found answers as to what really happened. And this is because the priest that is responsible, or who was responsible for the ritual that was taking place, has also not been found, has since disappeared. But I'm going to speak to a family member just to get a sense, Gareth, of their grief at this time. Phumla Renke joins me now. Thank you, Phumla, for your time. Sikala siswami njengomndeni ngiyacabanga ukuthi usuku olunzima kakhulu kunina lolu.
Usuku olunzima lolu today. Kodwa namhlanje siyababeka, kodwa umntwana lo une-3 months asikakamtholi, kodwa abababini sibafumene ngabasababeka namhlanje, usisi wami nomtshana.
Bekunjani nje kunina ninjani njengomndeni? Ngiyacabanga ukuthi kube nzima kakhulu sinamukele lokho.
Kube nzima kakhulu, kodwa side samkela, kodwa into ebuhlungu kakhulu ile ukuthi umntwana singamfumena ngone-3 months sibabeke beshota. Yinto ebuhlungu kakhulu ukuthi.
So ke sisi wami ubungichazela ukuthi bekusisi wakho lo, bekumuntu obethanda inkonzo. Yini oyikhumbula nje ngabo usisi wakho nomuntu abe uyena nje?
Bengumuntu nje oright ebezithandela icawe, ukuthi ngoku icawe yamthatha umbeka kwenye indawo esingayaziyo kulento zabo zokubhaptizwa. So wahamba ke ngalondlela leyo, yena ibingumuntu wecawe, uthanda icawe.
Niyakwazi kodwa ukuyidlulisa le ndaba noma namanje nisenemibuzo eninayo njengomndeni?
Sisenemibuzo emininzi uba ngaba umntana lo inoba uphelele kuphi, umfundisi noba umenze ntoni umntana, ngoba umntana kwakuthiwa wayesesindile then wathathwa umfundisi, wagqiba umfundisi wathi sorry. So umbuzo wethu unoba umntana uphi, noba sisezamfumana na or angeke simfumane, asazi.
Lisekhona kodwa ithemba njengoba phela sibona ukuthi isikhathi singaka sesihambile, nisenalithemba lokuthi nizomthola nalaba seshayo ababhekayo emanzini nabo bayabama ukumbheka? Uthini kunini?
Bayazama abumbheka laba basesha emanzini, kodwa abathi abamtholi. So asazi, asisenathemba, sazi noba sisezamfumana noba ngeke simfumane na.
Sithini isifiso senu njengomndeni njengamanje?
Isifiso sethu ngasi singafumana lo mntana umncinci une-3 years, sikwazi umbeka bonke boyi-3. So kubuhlungu ngoba asikwazi ubeka abantu abayi-2 lo une-3 months singamfumana, kodwa sizababeka ke, kodwa namhlanje kodwa ngathi singamfumana nalo mncinci, isifiso sethu.
And-ke umfundisi mhlawumbe khona ke okuvelayo ngaye, niyakwazi ukuthi nixhumane nithole impendulo nakuyena?
Singavuya kakhulu bangaba singamfumana umfundisi, sizokwazi basimbuze imibuzo. Mhlawumbe umfundisi bengenatyala, kodwa ke umntana lo ingasasixelela bangaba wenzani ngaye, wathini umfundisi umntana.
Senikudlulisile kodwa kwenzeka, senikwamukele ukwenzeka?
Sesikudlulisile, sesamkele, asinayo enye indlela esingayenza, kodwa sinemibuzo emininzi ukuthi umntana lo inoba sisezamfumana na okanye ngeke siphinde simfumane.
Right, ngiyabonga kakhulu ukhuluma nathi Sisiphumla Kgenge. Well, that was Phumla Kgenge. Just saying, Gareth, that as a family, they still have a heavy heart. They are bearing their relatives with a heavy heart, given that they still haven't found the 3-month-old child who is still missing. We know that search and rescue teams are still out there trying to look and search to see if they can find her remains. But the family is saying that, up until that happens, they still won't find closure yet. They're saying that this is still quite traumatic to them as a family. They still want answers, more especially from the pastor that had carried out that baptism ceremony. She described her sister, Sheila, who also lost her life in this incident, saying that she was a person who really loved going to church, somebody who would go to church, and this ultimately led to her demise in that incident that happened at the Jukskei River. As a family, they have, trying to get over what happened there, but they will not do so up until they find the remains of that 3-month-old child who is still missing. So the family is saying that they are hoping that they can find the pastor so that he can provide them some answers, because they say that the child had been handed over to the pastor just moments before the congregants were swept away by that flash flood. So they have questions that they want to ask, and they want clarity from him as to what happened to the 3-month-old baby. But certainly a triple tragedy for this family, who are today laying only 2 of their family members.